Good afternoon. Today we're going to do the Checkride flight for the 146. Not only that, but we're flying into one of the hardest approaches in the world, Innsbruck.
Okay. We've got 9.4 tons of cargo and about 9.5 tons of fuel, and we're taking off at around 45 tons. I've derated to 88.6 N1 as we have more than enough runway at Constantza. I've chosen Geneva as our alternate, and our reserve fuel is 2.3 tons. I've added 20 minutes of hold for the fuel calculation, just to foresee any issues at Innsbruck. Our call sign is November 85 Echo Mike November, so we're not going to use Alt-Arm for the climb. The SID we're taking is Dyro 5 Bravo from runway 36. Our cruise flight level is 280, and the weather looks good for the entire route. We'll have to fight a 33-knot headwind all the way to Innsbruck. At Innsbruck, the plan gives me runway 08, but we'll get the runway when we get closer. In any case, I programmed the FMS to take the Localizer Romeo approach into runway 26, and we'll do a circling if 08 is the preferred one. The arrival I'll take is Nana 2 Alpha. We've been cleared to taxi to the holding point for runway 36.
As you're not rated yet, you have to sit on the right-hand seat. Don't worry, you are the pilot flying. I'll only monitor and maybe correct some of the stupid things that come out of your mouth.
Oh, thanks.
Remember, when we were empty, you rotated too aggressively, but the aircraft helped you by lifting off very fast. This time, the weight precludes fast liftoff, so please, do not tail strike.
We have a 32.1% of SMC center of gravity, which gives us a slightly nose-heavy aircraft. This means I'll have to pull harder to rotate, but it also means a more stable aircraft. As takeoff speeds go, we've got flaps 18 for takeoff. V1 is at 131, VR at 141, V2 at 146. FTO is at 193 and climb at 203. I've subtracted 10 knots from VR to get rejection speed, so that we are conservative with a 1.14 times the maximum landing weight. Okay, at the line. Departure brief. We're taking off runway 36 via Dyro 5 Bravo, standard departure. This takes us on runway track to 2,000 feet altitude, at which point we turn south for the Constantza VOR. Then we turn right for Tinpu, and then Dyro. We have a speed constraint for the initial right-hand turn of 220 knots indicated and altitude constraints for Tinpu and Dyro of 6,000 and above. Basically, 14 nautical miles from the VOR, we should be at flight level 060 or above. That means about 700 feet per minute climb rate, even if we can only get to 3,000 by the VOR. We'll check the numbers over Constantza VOR. Taking the runway. just to have it on record, I haven't selected Alt-Arm because the Beyond ATC controllers are a little slow when clearing for continued climbs or descents. I think they don't account for the actual climb rate. Anyway, I won't level the plane at 6,000. TMS looks good. Takeoff.
TMS sets takeoff. Power set, flex achieved.
No arrows. Thrust set.
Speed alive, both sides. Cross-checked.
$100.
V1. Rotate. V2.
I'll keep V2 to 1,500 feet to obey standard noise abatement.
Contact extended departure 122.905, November 85 Echo Mike November. Constantza, November 85 Echo Mike November, passing 1,100 feet climbing to flight level 060.
November 85 Echo Mike November, Constantza departure, identified, climb flight level 140.
Climb flight level 140, November 85 Echo Mike November.
The aircraft foresaw the turn. It should have been started when we hit 2,000 feet. I'll pull for climb thrust. I'll use TGT mode on the TMS at 820 Celsius. I'll go sync to accelerate. I'll also engage IAS mode for the current indicated and clutching the autopilot backend. Constantza VOR in 3 miles. 4,200 over Constantza VOR. That means 1,800 to go for the altitude constraint in 13.4 nautical miles. That means a required climb rate of only 550 feet per minute, which we are well above. So we'll do the constraint. Engine bleeds, open up. Above 060 already. I'll go sync again to accelerate further. .240. Autopilot goes back in. Looking at the oil temps and pressures, I still have some room to increase thrust, so I will. As long as I keep it below 850, I am safer than MCT. Even though I'm only cleared to flight level 140, I can get the ECS to the equivalent pressure at 28,000. This is just 7,500 feet inside the cabin. That's one more thing I can clear off until the descent.
November 85 Echo Mike November. Contact Bucharest Center 118.175.
Contact Bucharest Center 118.175. November 85 Echo Mike November. Bucharest Center November 85 Echo Mike November. Passing flight level 115, climbing to flight level 140.
November 85 Echo Mike November, Bucharest Center. Identified. Climb flight level 280.
Cleared all the way up.
Flight level 280, November 85 Echo Mike November.
Here we are at cruise level. I planned for a medium cruise, which means a Mach number of 0.67. Because as you slow down or increase speed, the total air temperature changes scale. So will the indicated speed for a certain Mach number. Thus, I am expecting the Mach disk to move around as I change speed. So I'll plan for lower when decelerating and plan for higher when accelerating. The ball on the attitude indicator is linked to the triangle bug on the airspeed indicator. It helps by giving you a more precise visual cue for the selected airspeed. I'll always keep an eye on the engine row at the top of the TMS for arrows. I'm basically using the TMS as an auto throttle system. Speed's going in the right direction, so I'm getting on top of engine management.
Mold cargo 2102. Descent to 9,000 feet. QNH 1023. Expect runway 26. Descent to 9,000 feet. QNH 1023. Mold cargo 2102. Flying us 395. Contact Loft Center 125.5. Good day.
Contact to Loft Center 125.5, Flynet 395. Have a good day.
Throughout the flight, I have to adjust the TMS to hit the target Mach number.
With Malta 947, contact Budapest Center 120.375.
As I said, the Mach disk
Contact
moves
Budapest
around
Center
at temperature
120.375.
So not only do I have to
947.
adjust TMS, but also airspeed bug. We're at the top of descent. Got the clearance to descend. We were assigned runway 26, so I'll take the localizer approach all the way in. I've calculated my TOD using a 1500 descent rate, so the autopilot is on vertical speed. I'll use sync mode to hit that value. Setting the landing speeds. The Localizer Romeo approach at Innsbruck also has vertical guidance, but the course is skewed to the left so that it keeps you safe from the terrain. Around decision altitude, I will disconnect the autopilot and align the aircraft with the runway while flying the vertical profile. While on the Localizer approach, I can get runway 08 for landing, so there are procedures published for that occurrence. The weather today is pretty stable, so that is not really a possibility, and thus we already got runway 26 for landing.
Vienna Center, Istanbul for Tango Delta, passing flight level 258, descending to flight level 160.
Sunturk 4 Tango Delta, Vienna Center, identified.
Oopsie, the aircraft is still on sync mode. That is why it was turning away from Nanit. I'm using descent mode on the TMS to keep RPM safe for icing and pressurization operations. But I am not following the arrows as I want to maintain a certain indicated airspeed. I'll take the pressurization to 5,000 feet in the cabin as we're descending. The airport is at 1,900 feet. Because I got off course, the aircraft is trying to intercept the initial calculated vector to Nanit. I'll give it a direct to, so that we don't waste fuel anymore.
Ryanair 97 X-ray Kilo. Contact Milan radar 124.925. Good day.
Contact Milan radar 124.925, Ryanair 97 X-ray Kilo.
The autopilot is always linked to the left side director, so I am changing my directors to see localizer signal intercept, while the left side stays in RNAV.
Contact Munich Rudder 120.65, Sunturk 88 Uniform HO.
Sunturk 4 Tango Delta. Descend via star to 4,000 feet. QNH1019er.
Descend via star to 4,000 feet, QNH1019er, Saitek for Tango Delta.
Coming up on 150, I'll arm the altitude intercept, as I don't think I'm high enough to get a further clearance shortly.
Vienna Center, Wizz Air 685. Good day. Passing flight level 108, descending to 4,000 feet.
Wizz Air 685. Vienna Center. Identified.
Vienna Center with Malta Delta Romeo, passing flight level 113, descending to 4,000 feet.
With Malta Delta Romeo, Vienna Center. Identified. Sunturk 4 Tango Delta. Contact Munich radar 120.65.
Contact Munich radar 120.65, Saitek for Tango Delta.
November 85 Echo Mike November. Descend to 9,500 feet.
Okay, descent to 9,500. That is at the approach intercept level, so another thing off my mind.
Descend to 9,500 feet. QNH1021.
Synchronized mode again to get the descent going. The HOTAS said high temperature ops for Innsbruck because of the 30 Celsius temperature, which makes the density altitude around the airport feel like 3,840 feet. For the approach, I also took a conservative decision altitude of 4,400 for a 3% climb gradient required on go-around. 3% is less than 500 feet per minute to obey the climb restrictions in case of go-around.
Center, KLN 1990. Passing flight level 323, climbing to flight level 380.
KLM 1990 Vienna Center. Good day. Identified. Continue climb to flight level 380.
Continue climb to flight level 380, KLN 1990.
With Go 4 Papa Mike. Contact Munich radar 120.65.
Contact Munich radar 120.65 with Go 4 Papa Mike. Have a good day.
Corendon 6 Yankee Zulu. Contact Munich radar 120.65.
Contact Munich radar 120.65. Corendon 6 Yankee Zulu.
5 miles to Nanit.
November 85 Echo Mike November. Contact Innsbruck radar approach 128.975.
Contact Innsbruck radar approach 128.975. November 85 Echo Mike November.
Because I may need maximum power for a go-around. I'll land in the APU plus engine 4 bleed configuration.
Radar, November 85 Echo Mike November. Passing flight level 102. Descending to 9,500 feet with information Oscar.
November 85 Echo Mike November Innsbruck radar approach. QNH1021 expect the RNAV Zulu approach runway 26.
They want me on the RNAV approach, but I don't have the time to request the lock one.
QNH1021 expect the RNAV Zulu approach runway 26. November 85 Echo Mike November.
November 85 Echo Mike November. Cleared direct RTT. Cross RTT at or above 9,500 feet. Cleared RNAV Zulu approach runway 26.
Cleared direct RTT. Cross RTT at or above 9,500 feet. Cleared RNAV Zulu approach runway 26. November 85 Echo Mike November.
Okay, we're cleared on the approach, so I can intercept it when possible. As I said, this approach also has vertical guidance, so it's pretty much like an ILS approach with a skewed final. I want to tap the go-around button on the thrust levers. This will put the TMS in GA mode, which basically means I have total control of the levers. Of course, it wasn't successful on the first go. I thought I had it mapped on one of the FCS buttons, but it seems not. No signal from the localizer yet. The Innsbruck Valley is coming up, so the needle will move shortly.
All aircraft be advised information puffer now current. QNH1020.
Flying around best climb speed to keep lift over drag as high as possible and not burn too much fuel in this level segment. We've got the localizer signal.
Eurowings 50 Whiskey. Contact the Air Center 124.4.
Center on 124.4, Eurowings 50 Whiskey.
I'll go on a short heading mode to intercept the localizer course.
Localizer armed.
A bit too much. I'll lean the intercept angle.
Localizer captured. Glide slope's alive, one dot to go. Glide slope armed. Glide slope captured.
Lateral and vertical signals captured. Now I can relax a bit and prepare the landing configuration.
Speed checked below 205. Select flaps 18.
The autopilot is not doing a good job at flying the approach. I'll let it slide for now, as there is no real danger and I'm getting into the landing config. Having the air brakes out for landing means there's a lot of drag for the engines to fight off. This keeps them at around 70 to 80% N1 at approach speed, which means that the engines are ready to spool up rapidly in case of an emergency. It's one thing to spool up to 95% from 70% and a totally different one from 40%. Got that GA mode on the TMS.
November 85 Echo Mike November. Roger.
The autopilot lost 1.5 dot from established on the glide slope. I can confirm that the approach looks high. I guess you use what you have. Go around altitude set.
Minimums.
Landing.
$2,500.
The autopilot is 2 dots above the profile already. I'm disconnecting the autopilot.
Autopilot disconnected.
Oops. I pressed the disconnect button twice, which means that the directors went to go around mode. No worries. I can see the runway, so I can continue the approach.
Innsbruck Tower, November 85 Echo Mike November. RAV Zulu approach runway 26.
November 85 Echo Mike November. Innsbruck Tower. Wind 080 degrees. For knot. Runway 26 cleared to land.
Runway 26 cleared to land. November 85 Echo Mike November.
1,000.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Plus 100. Minimums. Minimums. $50, $40, $30, $20, $10.
Ground idle. Yellow and green spoilers. Brake pressure seen. 80 knots. 60 knots.
November 85 Echo Mike November.
There,
Exit
we
left at Alpha.
go.
Exit left at Alpha. November 85 Echo Mike November.
Cleaning up. Thank you all for watching.